Have you left an old 401k or workplace retirement plan behind at a previous place of employment? If you have, you're not alone and you're not going to want to miss today's video. Hi, I'm Kristen Oakley here with Sherry Over. She is the CEO of the Athena Team based right here in Maryland. And Sherry, just this past week, I read a statistic that there are actually over 29 million 401ks floating around out there that people have forgotten about or left behind with an average balance of $56,000 in them. So my first question is, why are people leaving these accounts behind?
There are a lot of old 401ks floating around out there, and I couldn't tell you the number of people I speak with that say, I don't even know if I still have that. How would I find that information? But here's what's most important is people don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to find it. They don't know what they have. They don't know if it's accessible. They don't know that they can consolidate and roll those into one so it's more manageable for them.
Right.
And the reality is people work really hard for that money. They're contribution plans. Their money that was placed in there when they were working, and it's their money. And they're entitled to it because it's going to help sustain them through their retirement years.
But to your point, I think there is that lack of education, or I know I've also run into folks who there's a fear, they're afraid that they're going to trigger some taxable event if they move that money. So walk us through how this rollover process actually works for folks.
I think it's very important to understand that it is movable. There is control you can have with your savings. And it depends on your employer. So if you're still actively employed, some of them have rules and regulations about when you can access that and when you can't. If you have an employer match, oftentimes they want you to be vested before you can touch those funds or you lose a certain amount of them. So it's really, really important that you check with your employer to find out what their stipulations and guidelines are for accessing those funds.
So once someone has all that information, and I know this is something that you help folks do routinely, when is the best time for someone to go ahead and move that old 401k or consolidate it?
I think if someone has left the employer and moved on to another job, changed jobs, that's an ideal time because you can actually do a rollover that keeps it from having any tax implications. And it accomplishes a few things. It gives you control of your funds. It gives you understanding of where it's allocated and how it's working for you. And it allows you to understand this pile of money is going to continue to work for me as I plan towards my retirement. So understanding the rules, understanding that you want ultimately investment control with your savings.
And not only that, but I know that oftentimes within a workplace retirement plan, there's just a limited number of investment options. But once someone rolls that over, you have every investment tool available to you and you get to choose and have that control and that choice over how you want your money invested. And that's huge for folks to be able to have that control.
I think anytime we have control over our finances, we're ahead of the game. And allowing those funds to be available for you to make that decision ultimately is what it boils down to, because understanding your end goal and then knowing how those tools, because the 401k is a tool that we have. It's a tool in our toolbox and we need to ensure that it's working for us.
Right.
And ultimately knowing our goal and how that will allow us to provide the retirement that we want in our future and the security we want.
For sure. And we should mention too, this can apply to folks if you have a 403B or if you have some other type of workplace retirement plan. So if somebody's watching right now and going, you know what, I think I do have one of these old accounts floating around out there, how would you be able to help them navigate that?
I have lots of people that come into my office with that. We take a look at their current assets. We look at all of those tools. And what we ultimately will do is implement the Athena strategy by having a discovery time of meeting and understanding the tools you have, looking at strategies we can implement, and then ultimately putting that in place and implementing those plans to give you the control, confidence, and comfort that you want in your retirement years.
Wonderful. Sherry, thank you so much. I'm really excited for more folks to get to connect with you as a result of watching this video. Again, this is for no cost, no charge, no obligation. If you would like to claim your complimentary Athena strategy with Sherry and the team of the Athena Team, we invite you to call the number that you see below.